Hello, 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 everybody, and welcome back to Keelah Talks. How are we all doing tonight? I am good. I am tired, but I am good. Um, there's a lot to say, folks. There's a fuck ton to say. And yes, I do have notes because I know there's some people that want to get in and talk, and absolutely, I'm open to that. But there are some things that I do want to get off my chest and to talk about before I get sidetracked or distracted by anyone else. And we all know that I can tech, let's face it. So the less I have to do, the less I have to do, the safer it will be for everybody. So yeah. How are we all doing? Are we good? Are we good? Um I don't know that I was gonna talk about this tonight, but since this is the first time I've gone live in so fucking long, I'm gonna open with this. So yeah, we're gonna get to the Oscars in a little while, but let's have a little catch up. I have been up and down with my health recently, and I know there's a few people in the community that know already, and they've been amazing supports. I'm going to announce it now because sure, why the fuck not? uh, lads, I'm 22 weeks pregnant, so that's why I haven't been around. It's been quite a difficult pregnancy, but yeah, um, bombshell. But that's happened, so that's why I kind of had to step back from all of this for a little while and just focus on myself and the baby and getting to this point because it's been a bit of a challenge at times. I'm not even gonna lie, it has been a bit of a challenge. So yes, that is where I have been. If you have been wondering, um, everything is all good. We're all doing good. And I hope you guys are keeping well too because I've missed this. I'm exhausted, by the way, lads, but I've missed this. I've missed the interaction. So yeah, thank you for all the congratulations. I know it's a bit of a bit of a surprise. Although I think for a lot of you it'll be like, yeah, we kind of guessed that. Like you've been away for a bit. Um but yeah, I've just had to concentrate on real life for a while. The other bit of news with me before I start all of this, I went away recently. This is another reason why I haven't been live. I went away, took a break, had 2 weeks off. Fucking loved every second of it. Um, but on the day I was meant to go away, or on the day I did go away, yeah, so no more secret keeping. It didn't last long. I'm a quite an open book, but I'm not gonna go too into my own personal life. But yeah, the day I went away, my landlords decided to wait until I left to tell me that they were kicking me out. So, yay, I guess. But so I've had that to deal with since coming home. So, oh, fun. It was a surprise. Well, right. Interesting question there, Sabe. Tattie-bogle asks, you weren't wondering how the fuck did that happen? I actually was because I've been on contraceptive pills for the last 6 years, so it was a bit strange. What it's obvious. I know that contraception doesn't always work. Like it's not always 100%, and it only takes one time. But yeah. Anyway, that's happened. I don't mind addressing it. I don't mind addressing it, so, um, thank you guys for the congratulations. It's been a bit of a weird couple of weeks. Yeah, Chris, it is legal because they gave me a month's notice, and that's all that's in my tenancy agreement. Don't worry, I'll be fine. It's all good. It's sorted. Everything is sorted. I'm going back to my mom's house, so I'll be fine. uh, will be taken care of and all that jazz. Tusk, what did you miss? Nothing. Absolutely fucking nothing. Absolutely nothing. You missed nothing. So you can fuck off again now. I'm joking. Um, so yeah, that's my news, and that's why I haven't been around lately. Um, so people can understand what's been going on. Thank you. Yes, I will. I will contact you tomorrow. I do have packing to do, but I will get in touch with you tomorrow. Reason. Uh, yes, I'm hoping. I'm hoping, Rob. So right. Bye, Tusk. Don't go. You know I love you really, kind of ish. We have a love-hate relationship. I love Tusk. He hates me because I keep bringing up the dragon thing. Oh, by the way, while I was on holidays, just because I'm a cunt, um, I met up with Tuscanetti while I was away, and of course, I had the Easter eggs because Easter is coming up and whatever, and I got to pull a Tina on Tusk, and it was so satisfying. It was great. Sorry about that. I'm not. I'm really not. It was great. But yeah. What am I looking at? Right. So let's start this crap. Oh, hello. For some reason it's not giving me updates. There we go. It wasn't fucking funny. Yes, it fucking was. So I got this little Easter egg. I found this Easter egg. And there was it came with a teddy and it looked like a dragony fucking dinosaur thing. And then there was another one that was a sloth. And so, of course, I couldn't just give Tusk nothing because we do love Tusk here. We do. Um, and so I brought the two and I put the one with the dinosaur thing, the dinosaur teddy, in a bag, and was about to hand it to Tusk. And I'm like, no, that's for you, Eddie. So he wasn't happy, but it was hilarious and I enjoyed it. So yeah, lads, if you do want to come on, message me on Discord. But I do want to get through a few things before I have people on because I will get distracted. I'll get distracted anyway, because fucking hell. Say Beagle, say Beagle. Are you doing my dates? Are you doing my dates? That's a good shout. That is a good shout. Clever fucker. That's not funny. That's genuinely not funny. So Tusk made me go to an island. I can't even remember the name of the island. Crannock Island, I think, just outside Edinburgh. And he was like, "Yeah, let's not get stuck." Ha 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 ha. Now it's about a 20-minute walk out. But me in my pregnant state was like, I need to walk slower. I can't walk fast anymore. It's really disturbing. It's really frustrating for me. But it took me about 40 minutes to get out. And the tide was already kind of turning. By the time we left, lads, the little walkway that we were going down was ankle fucking deep in some parts. Ankle deep in water, and I was like, "We need to move faster. We need to go. We need to go. We need to go." I've never walked so fast in my life in my pregnancy. Well, I tried to run. I did try to run once in the last 2 weeks, and it was bad. But we won't even talk about that. Plot hole for 333 for mother and child. Mwahahaha. Damn you. Sorry, I'll do it properly. 333. There you go. He'll be happy with that. I hope you'll be happy with that. Right, so let's fucking talk about the Oscars. Now, in order to talk about the Oscars, we need to understand the foundation of the Oscars. Now, a lot of people couldn't be arsed. They do want to talk about the recent scandal, which I will get to because I have a lot. and I mean a lot of things to say. That's better. Yes. But anyway, let's talk about the Oscars. Um, right. So, for those of you who don't know, the Oscars was set up by the five major studios of the time. So that's MGM, Paramount, Warner Brothers, 20th Century Fox, and RKO. They were the big five at the time. And LB Mayer, who ran MGM, I actually have a quote from him as to why the Oscars was set up. Right? The Oscars was originally set up, and the Academy and the Academy Awards was originally set up to prevent unionization. Oh, yeah, they wanted to break unions. Now, this came about because the set designers and the crew members in 1926, 1927 were kind of organizing themselves, and they refused to build LB Mayer's new beach house because it was not seen as, you know, movie things. It's not really seen as a movie issue. And it wasn't really their job. So it was originally actually set up to bust unions. Um, Michael, thank you very, very much. €5 for $5. Sorry. Hope you enjoy being a mom. Do you know what? As soon as baby is born, I will definitely be introducing baby to YouTube. A little bit. It won't be going mad now. But thank you very, very much. Yeah. So originally, and this is a direct quote from Louis Mayer, LB Mayer. He says, I found that the best way to handle movie makers was to hang medals over them. If they got cups and awards, they'd kill themselves to produce what I wanted. That's why the Academy Awards was created. And that's a direct quote from LB Mayer. So the idea was that it was only a matter of time before actors and producers, probably even writers, would want to unionize themselves, knowing that the unionization was going well for the set designers and the crew members. They weren't being used as cheap labor for the big producers on their private projects and stuff. So that's originally why the Academy Awards were set up. So with a founding that is so problematic, is it any wonder that it has been riddled with scandal ever since its inception? Honestly, honestly. Um, so just again a little bit of background. So in 1929 was the first Academy Awards. It was a 20-minute ceremony with only 15 awards, and half of them didn't even show up because they were announced beforehand. Even in 1930, with the first radio broadcast, what was happening was at 11 o'clock that evening, the publishers were allowed to publish the winners. So people still weren't showing up. And it wasn't until 1941 that they got the idea of the sealed envelope. And that anticipation grew, and they tried to get in some of the big name stars of the day to join. That way you could basically negotiate your contracts with the producers. You could negotiate with the large studios, but it was basically a way of shutting down any unionization. Now we all know that failed. That failed drastically, because there is a union. I think there's three different acting unions, but originally it was set up to bust the union. Now, I want to get to what's happened over the last little while. When they first publicized the Oscars on TV, it was in 1953, and there was 40 million viewers around the world. 40 million. That's incredible. That is quite incredible. And originally, it was these five different categories. or branches of the academy. So you could be an so what was happening is actors would nominate other actors, writers would nominate other writers, directors would nominate different directors, etc., etc. And the only difference of that being the best picture, and that would be a culmination of everyone basically. But usually, like, you'd be nominated. You'd have to be nominated by your own branch, and you'd be elected by your branch. So that was the original five. So you had the actors, writers, directors, producers, technicians, and that is still represented. Hang on, stop my. Hello, Etty. It is good to see you, and have a good night because you're going to bed. But yeah, so that's still represented in the trophy that they get. So the trophy that they get has, it's a statue, and he's standing on a reel of film with 5 holes in it, basically, or 5 circles, representing the original 5 branches of the academy. What was that? Imagine the damage you could do if you let off a live tax inspector. Yeah, now, but back then, I don't know. I don't know if you'd get away. I don't think there was as much because there was a hegemony around it. But anyway, so I told you I'd get sidetracked. Fact. That's just a fact. But yeah, so those were the first kind of iterations. That was the first branch of the academy. Now, it's branched out a lot more as the sector has grown larger and larger. But it's not the first time there's been controversy and shaky beginnings and all the rest of it. Now, in 2021, the viewership was standing at 16 million. Now, there are a lot more people that have televisions and other things like laptops, phones, etc., that they could watch it live than what they had in 1953. And so the fact that only 16 million have had watched it this year, that was up. I think that was up about 56% on last year. So fuck off, Tusk. I know what you're doing. I know what you're doing. But yeah, so that's where we stand. And it's always been seen as um this prestigious ceremony representing, and it's representing a pillar of privilege, and to the most part it has. I just want to go through some of the issues that they had in 25 years leading up to 2016, because 2016 was an interesting year, and I'll get to that in a moment. But in 25 years prior to 2016, 56 actors that had been nominated, not that had won, that had been nominated, were non-white. I mean, that's a staggering figure. 56 actors out of several thousand, 11.2% of the total of nominations were non-white. And in the lead up to 2014, 2015, 2016, there had been maybe one in those whole 3 years that had been nominated that were non-white for the 5 major branches. It's the 5 major branches that a lot of people take seriously. And yeah, this is the point, Tusk. Best films that ever made never got nominations. There's not just one film like that. There's many, and several people have called it out. Um, I go back to, let me just find it here now. Yeah, I have tabs. I have a lot of tabs. Uh, so famously, Marlon Brando sent someone from the Native American community to reject his award on behalf of him, and to talk about diversity and the importance of breaking with stereotypes and the harm that stereotypes do, which is important when we come on to the latest controversy. But again, representation has not been something they've been good at. Yes, high IQ research, absolutely. Um, Eddie Murphy, one of the world's most celebrated comedians or comic actors. There is comedians as well. He did a lot of stand up. But Eddie Murphy in 1988, an excerpt of his speech said was reenacting a conversation he was having with his manager, where he says, "I'm not going because they haven't recognized black people in motion pictures." The manager said, "What are you talking about? Black people win Oscars." At that point, only three from its inception had won. Um, but he went and shocker didn't win. Didn't win. But he was told he can't snub the Academy. Um, but he brought it out. He brought it up when he was asked to host, or when he was asked to present an award. He did make that speech, and he was trying to. This is back in again 1988, trying to raise the cause for the amount of people who were non-white, not just black, but non-white, working in the industry. So it was. It's not the first time that it's been brought up. Another one. There's a few that have actually brought it out. Kim Basinger or Bassinger, whatever way you want to fucking pronounce it, brought up the fact that Spike Lee, one of his most incredible contributions to the art form, Spike Lee was never even nominated. You know, she says we've got five great films here. And they're great for one reason, because they tell the truth. But there's one film here that's missing from this list that deserves to be on it, ironically, because it might tell the biggest truth of all, and that's do the right thing. And that's not a role that they want to put out. That's not a message that obviously the Oscars want to put out. Because, you know, doing the right thing is all a matter of perspective, because surfs. This is true. Well, he didn't do the Oscars. He did the Golden Globes. Ricky Gervais, and I will get to Ricky because this brings in the idea of the hosts, and what people are allowed to say at these award ceremonies. So I'll bring that up in a little while because it's an interesting take from Ricky. Um, these people want awards, and we want to see them as human beings, and that's the whole reason why we like them being dragged down a peg or two. But there's been several issues. Now, since 2016, so 2016, as I said, was an interesting year. You had people boycotting because of the whitewashing. You had the hashtag Oscars are so white, and people giving their opinions, and experiences of basically the Oscars being whitewashed, and not even just whitewashed, but just any sort of diversity. There's even with LGBT, with disabilities, there's been major issues when it comes to representation by Hollywood, um, and by the Oscars, sadly. So in 2016, they changed they did big changes to the membership, and the share of the voting of people who are of color has doubled. Wafer to 16%. A whopping 16% of people who get to vote on who wins an Oscar is a person of color. To just enjoy that statistic. Just enjoy that figure. It is the same, but it's not the same. Different people. Well, yeah, it's basically it's rival groups that cover the globes that pretend to be all woke and pretend to be progressive and shit, and they're just the same as the Academy, but they're not revered as much. And the invention of the Golden Globes kind of hit on things that the Oscars wouldn't have dared to touch upon for a long time. So they've actually pushed the Oscars more to progressiveness and to inclusivity. But this is where the whole Chris Rock thing starts. Because Chris Rock, coincidentally enough, with no person of color, I think actually there was one person of color for the main for some of the main categories, or so-called the categories that matter. He was the host that year. So you have people of color boycotting a ceremony hosted by a person of color, which he called out. Now, and this is why what happened the other night is an more complicated than just an outright joke gone wrong. Because at that ceremony, he said something to the effect of Jada has decided to, and Jada is Will Smith's partner, wife. Jada has decided to boycott. That's like me boycotting Rihanna's panties because I wasn't invited in the first place. Which again isn't the greatest joke in the world, in my view. But yeah, so I mean, it's always had representation issues. It's always had, especially in the categories that are bigendered and multigendered. For there was someone, I can't remember who it was. There was someone that got up in 2015 and said, congratulations to the men who were nominated for this category because there was no women at all, and it was best director as far as I'm aware. But yeah, so this is where it starts. Thank you. Cider and Port will be jumping in now in a few minutes. So this is where I'm going to start with the whole Will Smith Chris Rock scandal, and I have a lot to say on it. I really do. Now that we have the background out of the way, and it's important to have that background to understand where the Oscars came from, to understand where it's going, and why it has the issues that it has. So since 2016, they've been rushing around trying to make themselves seem more inclusive. And they had 3 women presenters for the first time, which is fantastic to see. And so let's go through what actually happened. I know I'm probably going to get copyright claimed, but I don't give a flying fuck. Sharing my screen. Just so you don't think that I just like disappeared. I am talking. I am here. Hello, Trio, and hello, Bob Nodell's Gyroscope. Good to see you. So yeah, we're getting into the Chris Rock bullshit. And the Will Smith. So yeah, I'm probably gonna get copyright, but like, fair use. Fuck you. This needs to be talked about. So this is what actually happened.
Chris made a crack about Will's wife, Jada Pinkett Smith, and her shaved head.
Jada, I love you. G.I. Jane too. Can't wait to see it. All right.
So that was a joke. A whole 5 seconds, 2 seconds. So what he said was G.I. Jane 2, can't wait to see it. fuck off you, right? Telling me to watch my language. Again, I'm going to get into that. But yeah, so that was the joke. Let me just slow it down. I was trying to Oh, what am I doing? I was trying to avoid the copyright, but let's just go through it. Fuck it. This is Entertainment Tonight's coverage. I am not trying to steal your content, but fuck off.
Jada, I love you. G.I. Jane 2, can't wait to see it. All right?
So when the camera pans around, you can see Will Smith is laughing. Jada is not amused. Her eyes are rolling up. And here's the only sympathy I have for her. And this is not, oh shit. Yes, because I can't tech. I forgot to bring down the thing. Hang on for a second. We'll go through this one more time. I can't tech. People know that by now. Hello, Clive Wells. Yay, it is good to see you. So let me just bring this down. There we go. Right, so this is the big moment where shit happens, you know? So this is what he says.
I love you. G.I. Jane 2, can't wait to see it. All right?
So yeah, Will Smith is laughing. Jada is not amused. Her eyes are rolling. She can't believe this has just happened. She's like, oh, for fuck's sake, of all of the things that he could say, he brings my appearance into it. Now, here's where a lot of people are defending Will Smith. I'm not one of them. However, this is a jibe made at Jada's hairstyle. Jada has publicly come out and spoken of her alopecia. She has done so for several years. She explained how for a long time when it started, she was absolutely distraught because it is a distressing thing. I have had a shaved head. I do it every couple of years for the Irish Cancer Society. I do a shave or dye. And ooh, I got a super sticker. And why won't it allow me to show your super sticker? Give me 1 sec so I can actually see what you did. Oh, a cheerleader. Yay. I have a cheerleader, lads. Moving up in the world. I'm moving up in the world. Hello, Brainbug. It is good to see you. And if you want to come on and have a conversation about this, by all means, message me on Discord or craftykeelah@gmail.com. And I'll bring it on. But there are a few things that I do want to say before any of that. I'm gonna get to the point. So she has spoken up, and she has discussed this on her own platform about the absolute despair she went through, basically coming to the realization that her hair was gone, her hair was falling out. And this is where I'm going to bring Ricky Gervais in for a second, because, you know, he's been asked a few times, is there anything that you are not willing to joke about? Is there anything you can't joke about? And he says no. And I agree with him to an extent. But the way in which he phrases it, it depends on who your target is and what your target is. And punching down is never a great thing. But once it's done in the proper way, you can joke about anything. Now, what happens is he makes fun of a sick woman. Not a terminally ill woman, but a sick woman. And that's what a lot of people have an issue with. They made fun of every woman, and even though it wasn't handled well, Will did stand up for his wife, and it isn't at all out of character. Right, so this is what I have the issue with. Women every day experience what's known as everyday sexism. I've experienced it myself. If women get upset about something that is said to them, they're told to get over it, find a sense of humor, build a bridge. You're just a crank. You have no. Again, it comes around to I'm having fun with you. You're taking this too seriously. I don't mean any harm. So you're not allowed to feel offended. You're not allowed to feel upset. Just relax. And this idea of women not being able to express their displeasure at something has been going on for years. And so this is the only aspect that I feel any sympathy for Jada Pinkett Smith. It's the only part. This is where my sympathy ends. And here's why. It was a shit joke. It was a really, really shit joke. However, Jada Pinkett Smith is a very wealthy woman. She has extraordinary power. A lot of women don't have that. She is still working. She is still making movies. She is still producing. She is still active in her role. It's not a sickness that will remove you from society or remove you from your job description at all. She has incredible access to health and beauty professionals that most women don't have. Her hair, I admire her for basically having the strength, A, to speak out, and B, to be proud of her body and the changes that it's going through. She should be proud too. And any low blows that she might have coming at her because of that should really brush right off, because she is a strong, independent individual with an outspoken opinion. And most importantly, she has her own platform. She has her own show. She can talk about the things that are upsetting her, distressing her, affecting her life. She had the opportunity, and still does, to express what happened in that moment for her, why Chris Rock was wrong, why Chris Rock should be held accountable, or why he owes her an apology. Now, I do think privately, yes, he does owe her an apology. He took a low blow. But that being said, there are those around Chris Rock who says he didn't know she had alopecia, because unlike the little people who rush around and try to latch on to every bullshit celebrity life, not everybody knows everything about celebrities. There's a lot that I've learned in the whole reviewing of this and in the last few years. No, right. So, Gary, this is her showing displeasure. This is her expressing her displeasure. She's rolling her eyes. She's not laughing. She's not clapping. She is clearly uncomfortable, which is completely understandable. Absolutely back her 100% for not finding that bullshit joke funny. I don't agree with it. I think it was shit. Chris Rock should have done better. He should have been better. And it's a learning curve. But the two of them missed an opportunity to teach people and for a learning curve to be had. And so the main thing I want to express here, and this is where I'll come on to Will. She can defend herself. She has in the past. She is a very, very strong individual. She's a strong, powerful woman who has the ability, who has the platform, who has the status, who has the wealth, who has the opportunity to stand up for herself. And this is where I'm getting to Will Smith. Will Smith was white knighting. You could see him there. He's laughing. He finds it, he's laughing out of politeness more than anything else. He's laughing because that's what you do, you know? And so this is what happens next.
That was a nice one. Okay.
While Will appears to laugh at first, things immediately turn sour as he takes to the stage, slapping Chris straight across the face.
So that's what happens. He slaps him square across the face. Now, Jada did not. I understand everyone's desire to say, he was standing up for his wife, he was defending his loved ones, and even in his speech when they allowed him to get up to a standing ovation and say, "Love makes you do stupid things," that's not a good enough excuse for walking on stage and physically assaulting someone else just because they don't like what you say. It's not an excuse. Yes, cider and port, I will bring it on. I promise. Just give me another 5 minutes, and then I'll open it up to people that want to come on and have the discussion. Nothing gives anyone the right to put their hands on another person unless it's self-defense. That is the message coming from Richard Williams, who he was playing, getting the Best Actor award. The person he was portraying came out and said, "No, you do not do this." But of course, like Jada, he is very wealthy, very privileged. He is a household name. He is revered for some people as this person who they can look up to. I understand that he saw his wife in pain, and he reacted. I get that. But he had to have known from his position of privilege that it was so safe for him to do that. That he, as one individual in that room, had the power and authority to walk onto the stage, slap someone in the face, scream at them from their seat, then afterwards, "Keep my wife's name out your fucking mouth," twice, disrupting the entire show, and then win Best Actor and be given the freedom to go on as long as you can or as long as you want, because we all know the Oscars are famous for using the music to piss people off stage, to get the fuck. You've spoken for long enough, And so again, Will Smith has this opportunity for a learning experience. He had every opportunity to voice his opinion in his speech or at the after shows, and he had every ability to talk to Chris after the show, or even in the break, and say, "Man, you are out of order. You owe my wife an apology," or to use his platform in any way, shape, or form other than putting your hands on another human being. I'm sorry, nothing gives you the right to do that. Now, I want to show his speech or his apology. He came up and he apologized, and the first thing he said in his speech was, the person that I'm playing, Richard Williams, is a fierce defender of his family. And so am I. I'm a fierce defender of my family. Now, again, he actually used the words, "I am overwhelmed," that he's something to the effect that God is choosing me to be a vessel of love. I'm sorry, lad. That's not love. Putting your hands on another human being is not love. Because here's the fact of it. An abusive person can just as easily go from hitting another person outside of their relationship for the one they love to hitting the one they love because they love them. And this is the problem. If I was Jada, personally, from my experiences in relationships, if I was Jada, having witnessed my partner hit someone else because they love me so much, I would be so worried, because that is a red fucking flag. That is a red flag to say there's only a strand of hair from hitting another individual to hitting your spouse, and using the excuse that love is behind it. How many boys and men are going to watch that, who are doing that at this very fucking moment to their partners, and say, see, love is a reason for violence. Love is a reason for me to snap. Love is the reason that you get smacked. Love is the reason. Love is never a justification for violence. It's not. And again, there is a hair strand in the difference between hitting someone because they've insulted your spouse and hitting your spouse because they've insulted you. Exactly, Brainbug. This is the point. I hit you because I love you. How many men woke up the next day to seeing that example, that I can use violence because love made me do it? That is not something that should be going out to young people. That should not be going out to anyone. That should never be acceptable in any society. I hit you because I love you, or I hit someone because I love you. It's not a good enough excuse. It is not. They have a platform, they have the privilege, they have wealth, they have the ability to get all of this, all of how they felt about that shit joke. It is not an excuse to lay your hands. And not only did he lay his hands on him, not only did he make bullshit excuses, and refuse to apologize to Chris Rock in his speech. He apologized to the Academy and to the other nominees. He didn't apologize to the hosts that are now going to have to pick up the pieces. He didn't apologize to Chris Rock, who he actually physically hit. He didn't apologize to all of the women who he has just basically given an out for all of their abusive partners. He didn't apologize to them. And this is where the problems really take home. Mr. E-Man for 333 Aussie dollars. Thank you. Just to show some love for the channel. I really do appreciate it. Thank you very much. But yeah, I'm in full-blown rant mode here. The other thing, oh, hello. Another 333 from Tattie saying a damn good idea. God damn it. Now, so then that's the big takeaway for me. He had extraordinary privilege and felt extraordinarily safe and had the audacity to believe, leaving race out of it for a minute, one man had the audacity to walk up to another man and slap him live in front of 16, nearly 17 million people. And however many have seen it, because I doubt anyone hasn't seen it at this stage. So the other thing, from Chris Rock's perspective, because the Oscars have been trying to excuse themselves. Actually, before I get to that, let's have a look at what Will posted then. The next day, and this is why I can't take this seriously, because the night of the Oscars, he went and partied to a remix of his own music. You know, it just screams a little bit narcissism. He has a big fridge, so he must be a narcissist. Violence in all its forms is poisonous and destructive. My behavior last night at the Academy Awards was unacceptable and inexcusable. Jokes at my expense are part of the job, but a joke about Jada's medical condition was too much for me to bear, and I reacted emotionally. Mate, Will, she's in the same fucking industry that you are. So if you have to accept jokes at your expense, so does fucking she. And that's horrible to say, but when you go to these awards shows, everybody is nervous, everybody wants their award, they just want to know if they won or lost. And so the host and the presenters are there to kind of break the ice and make it an enjoyable evening of entertainment. If Chris Rock didn't know about the medical condition and you jumped to white knighting for them, again, it's not the correct way to respond because you've missed the curve. The unchristian language is frankly undignified. That's from Cider and Port for 333. And if you haven't checked out Cider and Port, please do. I love Cider and Port's channel. A lot of social and political discussion. So if you're looking for somewhere to do that, yeah, so I'm getting to the Academy now in a second, but I blame the Academy for the whole thing. What kind of a venue allows people from the audience to just walk up on stage and assault the paid speaker? Right, so let's just get through this bullshit apology. I would like to publicly apologize to you, Chris. I was out of line and I was wrong. I am embarrassed and my actions were not indicative of the man I want to be. There is no place for violence in a world of love and kindness. There's so much wrong with that. It just reads to me like this is what a publicist put out. You know, this isn't Will Smith. This is a publicist. And that's what it feels for me. I might be wrong. Now, there are other people who say, you know, this was staged. And there's good cause for saying that. I think the way in which Chris Rock leans in to Will, being a comedian on comedic actor, he probably thought, you know, we're just going to rib a bit and we'll have a laugh and whatever. I don't think he expected to be slapped. I really don't think he in that moment to me was trusting a colleague. This was a work event. This was a proper professional event. You know, this wasn't just a night out. This was them at work. Them being rewarded for the work they and others have done. And so in that moment, from one professional to another, it would seem to me that Chris Rock, when he leaned in, you know, oh, here he comes, you know, making light of the situation, not knowing what the fuck is going to happen. I think there was a level of trust there that Chris Rock had bestowed upon Will Smith, given his reputation, and Will Smith abused that trust and hit him square in the face. That's what it feels to me. And again, I'll bring people in now in a few minutes and they can give their own take on it. And one of the producers has come out and said that, if I can find it here. I don't know if I can find it. But one of the producers basically came out and said, you know, there was he thought it was an act as well. And then he spoke to yeah, here it is. Again, I'm going to entertainment tonight. I know I probably shouldn't, but fuck it. But this is from an interview done with one of the producers of the show. And then I'll let people on. I'll be nice. I know you're screaming, Stephen, but like, I'll let you in. Don't you worry. So yeah, this is one of the producers talking about the details of the slap.
Chris Rock had the ability, the option, to have the LAPD go arrest and remove Will Smith from that theater that night.
That's an absolute fact. The LAPD made it clear we will do whatever you want us to do.
Oscars producer Will Packer sharing surprising details about the aftermath of the slap heard around the world.
Uh-oh, Richard. Oh, wow. Wow.
While speaking with Good Morning America's TJ Holmes, Packer reveals shortly after Will Smith stormed the stage and slapped Chris Rock, he thought what many viewers thought. Was it staged?
I thought it was a bit. I thought it was a bit like everybody else. I
Not
knew we hadn't
concerned.
practiced it.
Not concerned.
I wasn't concerned at all.
As he's walking.
And I said, watch this. He's going to kill. Because I knew he had an amazing lineup of jokes that we had. We had him in the prompter. And ultimately, he did not get to one joke. He didn't tell one of the planned jokes. Once I saw Will yelling at the stage with such vitriol, my heart dropped. I've never felt so immediately devastated.
So what happens when Chris Rock gets slapped? He tries to bring humor to the situation.
The winners are walking off stage. Chris is with them. And I immediately go up to Chris.
And you say what or you do what?
And I said, did he really hit you? And
I'm noticing there, look, I noticed there that I didn't take my thing off, so I don't know if you heard any of that. Because I can't tech, folks. I need people. Tatty, come save me. I'm gonna go back to it. Fuck it. I'll take it back. So yeah, we're gonna go back through the last like minute and a half. Because I don't know if you heard any of that, folks, and I apologize. Because it happens. So yeah, this is E.T.'s version of it.
Had the ability, the option, to have the LAPD go arrest and remove Will Smith from that theater that night.
that's an absolute fact. The LAPD
Okay, you
made it
did hear
clear
it. Grant.
we will do whatever you want us to do.
Oscars producer Will Packer sharing surprising details about the aftermath of the slap heard around the world.
Uh-oh, Richard. Oh, wow. Wow.
While speaking with Good Morning America's TJ Holmes, Packer reveals shortly after Will Smith stormed the stage and slapped Chris Rock, he thought what many viewers thought. Was it staged?
I thought it was a bit. I thought it was a bit like everybody else. I
Not
knew we hadn't
concerned.
practiced it.
Not concerned.
I wasn't concerned at all.
As he's walking.
And I said, watch this. He's going to kill. Because I knew he had an amazing lineup of jokes that we had. We had him in the prompter. And ultimately, he did not get to one joke. He didn't tell one of the planned jokes. Once I saw Will yelling at the stage with such vitriol, my heart dropped. I've never felt so immediately devastated.
So what happens when Chris Rock gets slapped? He tries to bring humor to the situation.
The winners are walking off stage. Chris is with them. And I immediately go up to Chris.
And you say what or you do what?
And I said, did he really hit you? And he looked at me and he goes, yeah. He goes, I just took a punch from Muhammad Ali, as only Chris can. He was immediately, in joke mode, but you could tell that he was very much still in shock.
And that shocking moment involved the police. The LAPD shared in a statement to ET Sunday night they were aware of the incident, but the individual involved has declined to file a police report. And Packer
Right. So here's the interesting thing about the police report. So he was in talking to the police, and the police said, "Do you want us to? We will arrest him now. We will absolutely arrest him now, if you want us to do it, and we'll press charges." And he said, "No, no, 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 no. I don't want any of that. Don't want to make it." Again, it's making a bad situation worse if you blow it up, and that's what immediately in Chris Rock's shock thought. He never said to Will Packard, "Don't remove him from the venue." Never said it. And the people around Chris Rock have also come out and said he had never said to the producers of the Oscars not to remove Will Smith from the building. Never said it. All he said was that he did not want to press charges. So there is a very, very important distinction there. You also have to remember this is a person who has basically had violence acted upon their body. The show must go on. He is a professional and he just rolled with the punches, so to speak. And so his natural reaction, even in shock, was to keep the show going. That I'm not going, I just want to go home. I want to get out of here. I want to feel safe, which was his idea anyway, that he was going to leave shortly after. But at no point, and this is the Oscars trying to save themselves, at no point did Chris Rock ever tell them not to remove Will Smith from the building. They are throwing it out there that he did, and they're trying to put the blame on Chris for their inaction. At the end of the day, that was their event. It was their event. Now, I understand the motives behind it. They wanted to continue on with the show. And I've been involved in shows before. I've been on the stage. I've done that myself. And the ethos around stuff like that happening, or any interruptions, is that you continue on with the show. And then when everything is settled and you've had time to think and you're not in shock anymore, then you take action. But again, this is violence. This is an instance of battery on their stage. And should that be, it's not even should it be okay, but should he have not only been allowed to sit in that room for the rest of the night after causing such chaos, but should Will have been given his Oscar and allowed 10, 15, 20 minutes to speak as part of his speech? That's the big question. For me, it's not okay. You guys in the Oscars were the hosts. You planned this event. You were required to put on security. You didn't do that. One of your hosts or one of your presenters was violently attacked. So I'm going to get one or two people on. If you do want to come on, just send me an email or message me on Discord and we can have a chat. We're going to go for about 15, 20 minutes because I know there's award shit going on for the flat earther bullshit. I'm going to bed. But I do want to have this conversation. So, Stephen!
Yo!
Hello!
Hi! I went through a quarter-life crisis. I shaved my hair off.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Ooh. No ponytail.
No more ponytail. Not for a while anyway. But yeah, like, oh god, like, as soon as I saw that you were talking about it, I was like, yes, please. It was literally like the fucking, the Eric Andre bit, just like, let me in. I want to talk about this. Yeah, Jesus fucking Christ.
What's your thoughts?
I mean, so in the kind of aftermath, like in the kind of like the day after, right? Like, of course, like it was all over everywhere, right? And you just had to kind of wait a few hours and it was all over TikTok. And holy fucking Christ, I've seen so many brain dead talks, or like so many brain dead opinions. People who like, so I'm on like the side of Chris Rock, right? I don't agree with what Will did, like at all. I know that, that like people's, but you see, like there was other people who were saying that like, oh, that Will was standing up for his wife. Yeah, that doesn't give you the right to physically assault someone. So no. But it's just like, look, I know that a lot of people are, just that like Will was wanting to stand up for his wife, right? And he did kind of laugh out of like, not nervousness, but he was playing along with the bit, like as soon as Chris told the joke. And as you said, it was a shit joke.
Politeness.
Yeah, it was a really, really, really bad joke. But I mean, I've also kind of heard the point of G.I. Jane is like a really kind of like
badass,
female empowering character. And like she was so badass, like that she got into, was it like the Navy SEALs or something like that and stuff like that. So it's just kind of like, yeah, I can kind of see maybe like if he wanted to kind of like if Chris wanted to spin it that way and be like, hey, it was supposed to be, a way of kind of going, hey, you have the alopecia thing, and yeah, that's obviously kind of shit and whatever, but hey, there's this angle that you can go for it, and you can do the whole female empowerment thing. That's if he wanted to. Now, obviously, he didn't do that, and that's not how he meant it. It was just supposed to be just a joke. But yeah, no, look at my whole point is, and my whole like thing is, you can defend your wife if that's what you want to do, and Will did do that after he hit him. Because he sat in the audience and he said, keep my wife's name out of your fucking mouth. He said it twice. Now, I realized that the only reason that the audience was silent when he said that was because he went up on stage and hit him. But if he had just said that once, and then everyone in the audience be like, the fuck just happened there? Like, he would have had the opportunity to kind of say it a second time with a silent room.
But this is why I don't think it was a bit, because Chris Rock responded to him and said, dude, it was a G.I. Jane joke. It wasn't something like he could have said, he could have fucking tore into anyone in that room.
Yeah.
He is a wise enough, smart enough comic, stand-up comedian that works off the cuff, that's able to do that. He could have said so fucking much. And for the entire night, people kept mentioning the whole entanglement thing, and he didn't. He went for a completely different take, and I can understand laughing at people and their appearance is not a good thing to do. And why we're still doing it, I don't know. But if you go back to Ricky Gervais and what he was saying was, you know, could you imagine if that was Ricky?
This is what I'm saying, man. You know, like, you compare some of the jokes that Chris Rock told on the night to some of the jokes that Ricky Gervais told over the years. Holy shit, man. They are night and day. They are night and day differences of jokes. So, like, I don't even know, man. It's like, but you see, like, Ricky could have, like, I genuinely think, right? I genuinely think that Chris handled it so fucking well, because you could see in Chris's face after Will said, keep my wife's name out of your fucking mouth. You could kind of see him, like, you know, like, kind of try and compose himself. And then, like, there was like a moment of silence, and then he was like, all right, okay. And then just kind of moved on, like, to whatever else. Like, you could see the jokes going around in his head. Like, something along the lines of, maybe you should have kept other men's dicks out of your wife's mouth. That's you know.
Yeah, and you could see he wanted to say something, but he was like, dude, I'm gonna just continue on. And what's annoying, what's frustrating about the Smiths is that they boycotted in 2016 and 2017 because of the lack of representation. The category that Rock was there to announce was for best documentary. And who won that? Fucking Questlove.
Yeah.
A man of color who was talking, and I was telling Tatty about this earlier because I needed someone to vent to. But Questlove has the Summer of Love documentary, which is about the film festival in Harlem, or the music festival in Harlem, that was supposed to be about diversity, that had so many people of color be on stage at the same time. Stevie Wonder was there, Nina Simone was there, some of the top performers. Didn't get a mention because Woodstock was happening at the same time.
Yeah.
And now you have a situation where this documentary has beaten all of the odds, got an Oscar nomination, has won the fucking Oscar, and nobody's talking about it.
Yeah, nobody's talking about it. Yeah, because it was just completely overshadowed by that moment. You know, completely overshadowed by it. Like, that's all. But I mean, it's completely overshadowed the entire Oscars. That's all everybody's talking about.
Yeah.
You
Coda won best film and best supporting actor.
Yeah.
And Coda stands for Child of Disabled Deaf Adult. Troy Kotzer, who won the best supporting actor, is the first deaf person in the history of award shows to win a bloody Oscar. And nobody's talking about it.
Yeah.
Nobody's talking about the fact that an independent film like Coda could actually win the top coveted prize of Best Picture.
Yeah, it's like,
Like
you
the
know,
diversity this year has been phenomenal.
yeah. Yeah, it was something that you had kind of mentioned earlier that Ricky Gervais was asked, you know, like if there is any kind of topics that are off limits, and it's to kind of address Ivy Gentry in your chat. So I've done stand-up comedy before, right? And it's not necessarily to like, you know, like I've only done it like, you know, a few times, and I've only been kind of doing it for a few years, like so. But like I don't think that any jokes are off limits per se, but if you're going to do a joke about a serious topic, so just for example, if you're going to do a joke about disability, if you're going to do a joke about cancer, if you're going to do a joke about rape, it better be a fucking good joke about disability, cancer, and rape, because if not, you're going to come across as a fucking asshole,
But
right? There
it's
are
not so
jokes that
much,
are
but it's
funny
not
about
so
those
much it's
topics.
not so much that it has to be funny or it has to be good. It is depending on who the subject, who the
Yeah,
punchline
yeah.
is aimed at. If
Mhm.
it's aimed at the people with the disabilities, then obviously that's bad. If it's aimed at society for being cunts about the disability, then that's
Yeah.
not a bad thing. I'm sorry. And Ricky Gervais does it brilliantly. The
Mhm.
whole Afterlife show is about a man who
Mhm.
wants to commit suicide because his wife died of cancer, which
Yeah.
in its essence is a horrendous idea for a show, but it fucking works. It is a great expression of that kind of emotion after you've
Yeah.
lost a loved one so tragically and so
Yeah.
early. Um, the genius behind that show is the fact that Ricky Gervais again looks at who the punchline is aimed at, who the joke is actually about, or what the joke is actually about, and flipping the idea and the notions that we are such a progressive society on its head by saying, well, but have you said this? Or have you thought that? Because, we're flawed individuals, we're not perfect. And that was such a
Mm.
great moment that they could have had for education and for learning, and they just didn't do it. They didn't take it. That's what frustrates me.
Yeah, like I don't know. It's just the whole thing. Like, look, and you have people in your side chat. Brie,
And
I don't
Ivy, if you want
know
to come
inside
on,
comment.
Ivy, if you want to come on, by all means,
Yeah,
I'm
absolutely, absolutely.
absolutely open to having this conversation.
Mm,
I don't disagree with you necessarily. I think both men were wrong, and I did say that Chris owes Jada an apology for making fun, or seemingly making fun, of her medical condition, or for making her feel that uncomfortable because of the medical condition. But I do think that they missed that opportunity to teach.
mm.
And as a household name, as a celebrity, an A-list celebrity, as someone with that platform, as someone with that privilege, what they had an opportunity and they missed it. And not only did they miss it, Will Smith acted so out of character, and that's what shocked so many
Yeah,
people.
yeah, 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 yeah.
To physically lay your hands on someone else in an act of violence is never okay. It doesn't matter if if you feel like you're defending fucking Mahatma Gandhi, which was all about
Yeah,
fucking civil disobedience without being violent. Violence is not, it actually serves to reinforce the stereotypes that you have worked your entire fucking career to break down. Because do you know what fucking Tucker Carlson's takeaway was? Well, at least mainstream media are now showing black on black violence.
Oh dear God. I
That's
don't
what it's done.
know. I don't know what particular coder of the simulation was what sort of off day he was having when he spawned Tucker Carlson into existence, but fuck me. Um Jesus Christ. Anyway, it's
I
just
know.
look.
Well, it's just one example, and the idea
Yeah,
of,
yeah.
and again on Fox they had this fight where they had fucking Pierce Morgan on and all the bullshit artists from Fox, and your one was on like, this isn't the hood, this isn't a bar, this is the fucking this is the Oscars. Like, oh my god. And again, it's a symbol. It is a symbol of privilege, not just to be invited, but to be nominated to win an Academy Award. It is a symbol of privilege. And we can't misunderstand how privileged these people are being in that room.
Yeah, it's look, yeah, like I definitely don't think it was staged either. 100%. I don't think it was staged. If it was, I mean, like literally just looking at Chris's body language when when Will was walking up to him. If you're expecting that hit, so like if it was a bit, right, that they had talked about before, if you're expecting to get hit, your natural instinct is to back away from it, whereas Chris was leaning in towards Will. So like that just instantly tells me that he was not expecting it. And then the fact that, Will very, very, very out of character. I don't think I've ever really heard Will outside of like a movie, like if he's in any interview. I don't think I've ever heard him swear. I don't think I've ever heard him using language.
Well, I mean,
So
that
it's
that
kind of
was
a little bit out
that
of
was the
character.
whole joke, wasn't it? That was the whole joke when Eminem started up. Will made this jab of like, I don't have to curse in my record to sell records.
Yeah. Yeah. So like that was kind of it. But yeah, like just how flustered Chris was afterwards.
Yeah.
Like he was introducing the Oscar for the documentary, but like he fucked up his line. I can't remember exactly how he said it, but it was like that like the next nomination for the Oscar or for the documentary or something along those lines. Like he was clearly very, very flustered. Like he was not expecting that. So I definitely don't think it was a bit. But yeah, look at like I don't know necessarily kind of like what Chris should have done in that situation. I don't know if
I've just sorry to interrupt you.
no, you're okay.
I've just noticed something in the chat there. Who timed out Gary Pollock, or why was Gary Pollock timed out? I mean, look, if people want to believe that Tucker Carlson is correct, I think Gary Pollock is either a troll or is just like, it's April Fool's Day. I know Gary Wybenga was on Speak Truth's channel fucking saying the opposite of what he thought. So maybe that's what he's doing. Or even if he does agree with Tucker Carlson, he still has a place here, even though I don't agree with that.
Yeah.
Don't be timing them out for that shit. Only time people out, guys, if they're being abusive in the chat, because then we have a problem.
Yeah.
Then I'll get involved and just fucking kick the bastards, because fuck that. This is a safe space. Well, it's not a safe space. It's my space. Mine.
Yeah.
Because people always make fun of me for the fact that I always say that my channel isn't isn't fucking a democracy, but like, oh, okay. So he's basically a Tucker Carlson. That's fine. Lad, Gary, if you want to come on, by all means, I would love to talk to you.
Yeah, absolutely. I would as well.
I don't feel threatened by the likes of Tucker Carlson or people who agree with Tucker Carlson. We have to have space to actually have these conversations. And if we can't have these conversations, then there's a problem. But say, fair play, I understand, man. But like, if he gets abusive, then definitely just fucking hide the cunt, because bollocks to that. But yeah, I do respect my mods. I understand that they do want to create a friendly atmosphere, and yeah, move off Tucker Carlson. He's a cunt. But
yeah, I don't know.
Go on, continue.
Yeah, so that's what I was going to say. I don't know necessarily what Chris like should have done in that like instance. He very, very, very well could have like pressed charges and all that sort of stuff. I don't know. It's like, is there?
But here's the thing. The thing, right? Here's the question for you, Stephen, because I've had these conversations with people over the last few days. If he had pressed charges,
yeah,
he would not be able to play the victim angle, right? So would his gigs have gone over the past few days, which they have shut up, from like 40, 50 quid to people paying 400 or 500 for a ticket.
Yeah, true. I'm
He
not
has
really.
come off as the professional here. He has done the right thing in terms of PR. Now I get he was in shock in the moment. He reacted the way he reacted as a professional would. You know, a professional. And I am sure a lot worse has happened to Chris Rock. I think there was
Yeah.
a big shock in terms of he trusted Will. He didn't expect him to react in that way. But you know, it happened. And therefore, he has to get on with the job at hand that he is hired to do, which is present the award. And so he does get on with presenting the award. And that is what professionals do. Like, I have seen on stage people come on and try to rip off someone's wig on stage. You just keep smiling and keep performing because that's what professionals do. So it didn't surprise me at all that he just carried on as normal. And again, he is a wicked stand-up comedian. He is able to play off the cuff. You know?
Yeah, well, I mean, you kind of have to be, like, especially when you're in that sort of environment, you know, you do kind of have to be kind of quick-witted, you know, and just have to be able to kind of like think of something on the spot. But I mean, like, what I was going to say was, I mean, like, if Chris had of pressed charges, I mean, like, and I'm not necessarily saying that this is, you know, right, but I mean, is there any jury that's going to like find and imprison an A-list celebrity? Like, I'm not saying that, like, that's obviously a sad state of affairs, because A-lister or not, if you break the law, you should be punished, and you should, you know, you should face the consequences of that. But I don't know, like, you know, that's like, it's kind of shit that we're in that situation where it's kind of like, almost, if you are an A-lister, you can kind of get away with certain crimes. You know, I
Again,
mean,
that speaks to the
I
privilege that
still
these people have.
exactly. I mean, I still don't think that people talk enough about the fact that Caitlyn Jenner killed someone in her car.
Yeah.
That's what happened. She
Yeah.
killed someone,
And
nobody
Ricky
fucking talks
Gervais
about it.
excellently commented
Yeah.
on that, and then he was
Yeah.
called a transphobe. Actually, what he was saying was he was talking about the stereotypes of female drivers, you know,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
acknowledging the fact that she's a woman. Like, he was actually the opposite
Exactly.
of a transphobe.
Yeah.
But Gary is back in the chat. Gary is back in the chat. Please don't time him out, because although I completely do not agree with the likes of Tucker Carlson,
Yeah.
I can understand where some people who would listen to them are coming from. Saying muting people's opinions is pure fascism is a bit of a laugh. Gary, I want you to understand how things work on my channel. I do things on my channel that are interesting to me and that I think will be interesting for everyone else that subscribes. What happens on my channel is what I decide. And this is not a democracy. I've never claimed that my channel is a democracy. If you are insulting to other people, which I haven't seen you do, which is why I'm asking for you not to be timed out again. If you insult other people or make threats against other people, you won't just be fucking timed out, mate. You'll be out. That's it. But different opinions and different discourse is absolutely necessary, is absolutely welcome in my view. Just, you know, just
Yeah.
say what you think. I'm fine with that. And so long as my mods know, then, you know, you're golden. You're grand. You're grand. Just don't overreact, you know. Don't pull a Will. Don't pull a Will.
Exactly.
That's going to be a thing
And
now.
look, I mean, I had said to Gary, like, as soon as I saw him back in chat, I was like, dude, like, if you want to fucking come on, like, what, like, we had said, or Keelah had said that, like, you're more than welcome to fucking come up and join, you know. We can have
Absolutely.
an old chat. He
Like,
says your
I'm
channel
not
is interesting. I was never insulted. I was never insulting.
Yeah.
Back at the chat, you'll see people are actually insulting to me. Yeah. Well, look,
chill the fuck out and have a good time, the lot of you.
yeah.
But let's not. I also want to make the point. People here are very opinionated, and I love the fact that they're opinionated. I'm very opinionated, as you can tell. And so people giving their opinions, even though if you disagree with them, that's fine, but they will give you feedback and strong opinions back. Please don't be fucking rude to anyone, and that goes for everyone. You know, be grown-ups, have an adult conversation, but don't think that just because they disagree with you, they're being insulting or they're being whatever. Because it's probably not coming from that place. And I'd hope it's not coming from that kind of a place. Yeah. Anyway, back to the Chris Rock bullshit.
Yeah.
Chris Rock now has a
Sorry.
sold out fucking show, and tickets to see him have gone skyrocketed from fucking 40 quid right up to 500. So, I mean, he's come out of this on the positive. Will has come out looking like a complete fucking twat. And I am sure, because she has an opinion about everything, which is a good thing. I like opinionated people. But Jada will have her say on her little round table thing that she does.
Oh,
And
yeah.
Like, she gets a lot of views on that. She gets a lot of attention on that. So, I wish them all the best of luck, and I hope they get over the fucking thing. The only thing is, you know for a fact that every award show, it's going to come back up and come back up. And it's a sense, in a sense, I do agree for the first time in my life with Jim Carrey. If it had been me,
Yeah.
if it had been me that had been slapped by another human being in front of 17 million people, plus everyone that has seen it since, and everyone that's been talking about it since, I would be looking for compensation.
Yeah.
But again, Chris Rock is another privileged person, and this is where the issues are. How do you express from one privileged person to another privileged person, or one privileged person has done a hardship or a wrong to another privileged person who has all the financial and economic resources in order to shield them or to get over the embarrassment or the humiliation or the issues that they have. But I'm just remembering, like, I think it was Stephen Colbert that did a little thing saying Kanye West was asking, you did what at a ceremony? At an award ceremony? When Kanye West did this, Taylor Swift, he didn't physically assault the woman. But he did take the mic out of her hand and said, you don't deserve this. This other person deserves this. You know?
Yeah, and look, I mean, like, to the kind of point of
physical assault.
Exactly. And to the point of, I mean, like, Chris getting some form of like a financial compensation. I mean, you just said that the price of the tickets to his show have gone up literally fucking 10 times what they originally were.
Yeah.
So I mean, he kind of is
getting
financial compensation for it, you know.
Because will he see any of it? Or is it private scalpers that are pushing up the price? But anyway,
possibly, but you see, like, he's already booked the venues that he's in. So like all of those that are at like a fixed cost, like he would have signed some form of like a contract like with the venues themselves that they like, you know, that like if like let's just say that their flat rate for hosting them that night is like 8,000, right? Just random number off the top of my head. Like anything extra that kind of goes towards the tickets is kind of going into Chris's. Now that's if they're being sold through like by the venue themselves. Obviously, if it's a scalper, that's totally fucking different, and that's just someone making, you know, a quick buck off of the fact that Chris's name is in every fucking headline for the last couple, you know, of days. But I don't know.
Well, the
I don't know.
fact that he acted so professionally and so graciously in the face of a physical assault, he is going to be the one coming out of this looking in a good light.
Yeah.
Even though the joke was problematic, he was the one that was assaulted. And no matter how bad your words are, unless it's inciting violence,
Yeah.
you should not be physically attacked for those words. Should you be silenced? Depends on the words, really. If it's an incitement to violence, then absolutely. And there have been issues with, freedom of speech. The Oscars is a private held event. Facebook is a
Yeah.
privately owned company. Twitter is a privately run company. These are not public spaces. These are privately run, rented out to the public for your subscription and for your advertising. These are privately owned spaces rented to the public. And that's the big difference. And this is where the Oscars crowd had a duty of care to the other people in that room to step in and remove Will Smith from the building. Someone else could have taken the fucking award for him and could have accepted, but Will Smith should have been removed from the award. I can understand for the headache reasons and for show business reasons why it didn't happen, but the onus was on the hosts. They had a duty of care to the people that they employed, bringing them in to host and present awards and to receive awards.
Yeah.
They had a duty of care. They failed in that duty of care, and now they're blaming Chris Rock on it.
Yeah, but I mean, like, it's, I don't know, like, I don't know, like, but oh yeah, that's the other thing I was going to say. It's when Will got up and he was doing his thank you speech, and it was during it anyway, where he had said that he wanted to extend an apology to the Academy and to the people that were there in the audience. He purposefully excluded Chris from it.
Yeah.
Now I understand that it was only a few minutes later, and like his blood was still kind of probably still pumping pretty fast, but I mean, like, even if you don't wholeheartedly mean it in the moment, that you're gonna mean it like the next day. So just like, even if it's literally just for show, if it's like if you're saying it but you don't mean it,
Well, again, it's the white knighting.
it's
It's the white knighting issue, right? Because when he got up, he said Richard Williams was a fierce defender of his family. In this time in my life, in this moment, I'm overwhelmed by what God is calling on me to do and be in this world. And then he goes on to say, I got to protect this person who is a strong but delicate person. I got to protect these two actresses. I got to love and protect the people in my life and be a river for my people. Now, again, then he goes on to kind of justify what he just did and say, I know what we do. You got to be able to take abuse. You got to be able to have people talk crazy about you in this business. You got to have people disrespecting you, and you have to
Yeah.
smile and pretend that life's okay. Yes, that is what you're paid to do. It sucks, but that is your job as an
Yeah.
actor, as a person in public life, that you chose to be, that your wife chooses to be a public figure. That is what happens. And yes, he said, I apologize to the Academy. I apologize to my fellow nominees. But again, Wanda Sykes was on the Ellen DeGeneres show a couple of days ago, or a day or two ago, and she was saying, the first thing Chris Rock did was come to me and say, I'm sorry, this was supposed to be your night as hosts.
Yeah.
I'm sorry that happened.
Yeah. But I mean, like, just to kind of piggyback off of what you've just said there, I mean, like, Will kind of shot himself in the foot by saying that, because he said, in this business, you're gonna get you're gonna get people who are going to insult you and stuff like this, and yada 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 yada. And yeah, as you had said, his wife is in the same business. So okay, so Will is supposed to take the criticism. Will is supposed to just shrug it off, but apparently his wife is not.
Yeah, and then they preach about equality. Gary, I completely agree with
It's
you.
like,
Violence is okay in self-defense and proportional to what's happened. You cannot hit anyone for telling a joke. You can't hit someone for telling a joke. The Oscar at minimum should be taken off Will Smith. The Oscar is not going to be taken off. The reason why the Oscar is not going to be taken off him is for race issues. Ultimately, that's one of the biggest reasons why he's not going to have his Oscar taken away. I'm going to be honest. But anyway,
But there
there will have to be consequences though.
And he's just said something else there as well. That he can't believe that anyone actually defends Will Smith. Man, I've fucking seen it. I've seen people who are making videos, who are making YouTube shorts, who are defending Will Smith, who are saying that
he did what had to be done, and he
someone
had to
insulted
protect
your woman, so you go up and you it's just, I can't even imagine like what sort of precedent is that setting, So okay, if I'm on stage next time and I'm doing a comedy show, or if somebody much, much bigger than me is on stage doing a comedy show and they tell a joke that someone in the audience doesn't like, okay, is it now okay to walk up on stage and hit him? No, of course not. And if any one of us did it, we'd be arrested on the fucking spot.
But I think
it's like,
I think what hits harder is the fact that after that moment, after he won his Oscar, he went to one of the after show parties. So whereas Chris Rock went home, he didn't really feel bad about it at all. And then his publicist probably was like, dude, this is getting big headlines and it's not looking good for you.
Yeah.
You better say something. And they helped write up that statement. It didn't feel genuine. Because of the fact that he was seen at the Oscars parties, not giving a shit, dancing to his own music. By the way, who the fuck does that? But yeah, it's just frustrating. But I am going to leave it there because it's 12:15 and I'm tired.
Yeah, I was just going to say I'm actually kind of fairly tired now myself, so yeah.
But it is good to see you. And it's good to
see
have
you
back.
too. Yeah, it's been a while.
Yes.
Yeah.
But yeah, so we're going to get out of here, and thank you for everyone for watching and listening to my rants. And whether you agree or disagree, that's all right. There's nuance in this, and we can actually, like he said, like Gary says, we can have empathy but not sympathy. We can have discussions. We can be understanding and understand nuances and how difficult a situation this is with all the ins and outs that we probably don't understand because we're outsiders looking at the situation. But I do hope there is some sort of a resolution to it, but for a fact that this is going to be dragged out every Oscar season, replayed and replayed and replayed and replayed until we're all fucking sick of it the way we are right now. So I don't have my outro, so you can all just go fuck off. I will be back on Sunday for Life on the Flip Side with Stephen Cup of Reason. So that's going to be fun now that I'm getting back into my little routines. And for those of us in the UK and Ireland, it is at 12:30 instead of 11:30 because, daylight savings time. Woohoo! Ish. Oh, that hour fucked me up. But people, have a good time. Subscribe to Cider Import, and someone put Cider Import's link in the chat. So goodbye, people.
Thanks, guys. Bye.